Hello everyone and welcome back to more Pokemon stuff. So, I'm a bit late starting this tonight for various reasons, and actually I'm going to be right back because I gotta go do something. Okay, there we go. Now, Jolteon's going to be a little bit of a problem. Double Kick can be good against certain types, but keep in mind his attack stat is pretty abysmal compared to his special attacks, so that is a problem. I do have Thunder, but it's very inaccurate, so I could run into problems using that. Because of that, I'm going to try my luck in the earlier fights, when Pokemon are really not that hard to deal with. Right. I'm going to get a couple of battles on the way so I can fly places. I'll get one more fight out here just to keep it even. Alright. I guess it's gonna be... Well, I mean, it was effective on you. Okay, I'm getting kind of lucky with that. Damn. Getting really lucky with it. A clean sweep? Wow. Pull up. That's kind of amusing to me. Double kick? Not very good. But hey, whatever. Yeah, I figured it was gonna miss at some point. But hey, Thunderbolt still killed it. Shockingly. Get it? Shockingly? Yeah, that was bad. Ooh, this might be a problem. Let's find out. Not because of these guys. These guys aren't really that big of a problem. You're the problem. Well, it only takes two of these. That's not too bad. Sandstorm might be an issue, though. Level up. Okay. Fuck, that lasts a while, man. Okay. Survived. Okay, yeah. Okay, that worked out pretty well. This might not. Mm-hmm. Didn't think so. Okay, how about you? Not bad, okay. Level up. So, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. All things considered. Damn. Most things Jolteons actually can take up pretty well. There's only like a couple miscellaneous ones that are an issue. Dragonite. Yeah, with 23 health, I do not want to test my luck with that. No, really? You couldn't just kick its ass? I mean, Jolteon could potentially do this. Yes. Okay. Damn it. Attack! Damn it. Okay. Jolteon again. Let's see how this goes. Another Dragonite. You know what? Fuck it. I don't care. Oh, it was supposed to be Ice Beam. Whatever. If they get a few more levels in them, they'll be able to handle this, no problem, though. I have no doubt. Matter of fact, I'd go so far as to say I think that they are just and themselves pretty well, even at low levels. Don't. Okay, there we go. I'll do a couple more. Level up. Alright, so damn it, I was supposed to. Well, okay. Not like it matters. Get wrecked. There we go. Level up. I don't think so, bitch. Yeah, I'm doing a lot better for myself this time around. Because I'm using Flare Round a little bit. Damn it. Oh, come on. Level up. No. Level up. I can try my luck with Thunder, but I do not envy my luck here. Come to think of it, I should have waited for him to use Rain Dance. Damn! Well, level up. The only move he has left is Double Kick. That is not going to be useful here. Well, you have Quick Attack. No, you have Flash. Never mind. I was thinking of the other one. Maybe I should save state in case he does use the attack that can kill me. Okay, so yeah. Damn it. Yeah, that's not gonna work out, sadly. So, I need to find an excuse to use Double Kick on something. Because I'm running out my moves too quick, unfortunately. So now, there we go. There's gotta be something. Well, I mean, you are ice. Yeah, that works out pretty well, actually. Not very effective. Yeah, that's not gonna work in my favor. It's because you're psychic, right? Yeah, okay. Fighting no good against psychic. I should have figured as much. But hey, I received one use so far. I need to really think about that. Go you. Damn it. Level up. It's good against steel, but I think it's bug resistant. But you are kind of weak, so, you know, I'm not really suffering too much from that. Now, fighting is good against dark, so I do have that to consider. But not good against flying, so I gotta be careful about a couple of those. Didn't do much. Okay, that worked out better. How about you? You're gonna use the same thing, got it. Okay, that seems a couple of uses. Roll up. Alright, here's where it can really come in handy, since fighting is good against dark for some reason. Ah, failed, bitch. You're Plint and so, so I do not envy my chances with you. Let's just get rid of you, Flareon, and call it a day. Fighting is not good against Ghost. However, Thunder works just fine. Alright, what about you? You're Fire and Dark. Damn, that works great on that one. Now let's get rid of you. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to start doing, is primarily use Double Kick for Karen's Pokemon. Saves a little bit more for this one. Can you use... Yes! Thank you! Thank you! Thunder is 100% accurate in the Thunderstorm. Awesome. Love you, Gyarados. Love you. Level up. Oh, beautiful. Ah. Hey, it was great while it lasted. That is such a good strat, since it will prioritize Rain Dance over its other moves most of the time. So that's neat. I think the only time it won't is if they're up against something they know water isn't effective against, really. So yeah, that's neat. Need to get Flareon another level. I could probably do that back at Mount... No? Mount Silver. If they give me some... Come on. Where's the evolved ones? There we go. Level up. Okay, so... I'm gonna go and do Flareon and Vaporeon first to get them finished up. And then we'll focus on Eevee and Jolteon, and that will be that. Alright. Oh, come on. Just in case. Thing is, Flareon has a lot easier than Jolteon, since he has plenty of return that you can use to just well, pretty much murder a lot of shit, honestly. I use fire if I have an advantage, but like against you, but return's good against most things. I keep thinking the Zubat line are bug types, but they're not. They're just poison and flying, if I recall. You're the bug. Level up. Huh, level 69. Nice. Yeah, Flareon is just all kinds of screwed up. Really? That's not good enough? Thought it would be. I think it's good enough for you. No, it's not, actually. Wow. Alright. It's good enough for you guys, though. Alright. Wow. Didn't think it'd be able to one-shot you yet. But hey, whatever. Of course. Vileplume. She's like, can we talk about this? Nope. Level up. Alright. Let's see how this goes. Oof. Shadow Ball? Shadow Ball. Okay. Return. Okay. Can sometimes take on level 47s. Good, good. Okay. Just got you now. I should be able to deal with this. Yep, okay. Yeah, Flareon does pretty well for himself, certainly. Only because he has return, though. If he was stuck with what they normally give him, this probably wouldn't be going near as well. Which is kind of upsetting, honestly, but what you gonna do? And yeah, I am probably gonna be maxing out the game timer here. Level up. Oh, stop it. Keep forgetting the turbos for the cancel button, not the accept. I really need to change that. Alright. I also need to remember he has Shadow Ball, so... yeah, you can just kind of use that for all of these. That's what you can do. Which is a pretty good tactic, all things considered, considering that you don't really need Shadow Ball for much else other than him. Only a couple of Pokemon are really weak to it, so yeah. You bitch. Little bitch. As a matter of fact, I need to use Flamethrower on here because Flamethrower is not really good against level up. Good against most of what's coming forward later. Like, there's one I can think of that's weak to it, but that's about it. And I got plenty of it anyway, so... I mean, I could probably manage with return here, but I'd rather not risk it. Shutable. Die. Yeah, that's the one that was weak to it, and that's it. Everything else resists it. So... level up. Wasted effort, man. Oh, someone's chatting me. You know what? I'm just gonna go this route, just because it feels like there's less you need to travel. At least it feels that way. Shovel. Level up. He's like, yeah, just move on. Shutable here? Well, I mean, it works. I just don't know if it works enough. Oh, maybe it does. Damn, really? Everything? Except for maybe Fortress? Okay, that works for me. Of course. Flamethrower tactically would have been a better choice when you consider that there's a lot of enemies towards the end that resist it, so best to save the shell ball for that point. Ah, damn it. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, definitely want to use return on you. Level up. because he's very defensive. Shovel is good for you, not really for much else here. Because Dark Resist go, so kind of worthless. Yeah, Return's about the only thing I have that'll work on you. Oops. Not what I meant to use. Although you can't do much damage to me anyway. Pull up. Well, now I can actually potentially one-shot like all of his, so that's pretty neat. I'm gonna give Jolton a few more levels just so he has more experience more HP than Eevee does, because that just looks weird for Eevee to have more than any of these. Oh, not a single fight. It's not often that happens. Well, so much for you. Level up. Come on. What? Oh. Okay, sorry about that. I normally switch to Therian for this one, and I might still do that. Let's see what happens when it comes to double kick. Nah, it did alright. Certainly not gonna complain much about that. I think fighting is okay against other fighting, but I'm not sure if like it's gonna be strong enough with Jolteon to get through a lot of these. Can do him on top okay enough. Okay, I'd rather you do that than Sandstorm. Okay, that worked out. What about you? I don't like double Mach Punch. Level up. Yeah, let's not test that against Machamp. He would probably slug us some fierce if I try that. Oh, wow. Okay. Lucky crit. Oh. Hmm. Thunder, maybe? Yes, actually. Okay, cool. Damn. Damn and damn, wow. Okay, so let's try this again. Will you be a bro and use Rain Dance? That'd be cool. Flow. Every beam. Surf. Everything but Rain Dance. Fuck. Use Rain... Yeah, no, you're not doing it. What the fuck? What the hell, man? Why aren't you using it? It does technically benefit your moves. Why aren't you using it? Alright, fine, whatever. We'll try one more time. Yeah, I'm guessing he's onto me at this point. Alright, whatever. Well, at least it's good enough to kill level 47s now. Level up. 659. Nice. Okay. Well, lucked out with the accuracy there. Again. And again, awesome. Way to go, Jolteon. So, yeah. Like I mentioned yesterday about my video game collection on the PS1 era. Oh, really? It goes above 99 hours? Really? Well, never mind. I guess we won't be getting to the max. I mentioned a lot about it was the dawn of the RPG era, and I got quite the awesome collection of games. That's certainly true, however, there is... I need to wait one more minute into real time before testing that event again. But RPGs weren't the only thing that I was enjoying on PS1, though. I got a few games, like aside from Jumping Flash 2 and Floating Runner, that were like that. There was a platformer-esque RPG action game made by Squaresoft called Threads of Fate that I also had. It's hard to really explain what that game is like. It's a game I would like to stream one day as well. I will say for the record that this game is definitely some of the more creative games Squaresoft ever made. And okay, let's see here. Nope, not happening. Alright. But yeah, that's one game I had. Oh, fucker. Level up. I had another game called Parappa the Rapper, which I was not really one that was really into rap around that time, but I will say, um, ooh, I can one-shot you guys now. Well, two-shot, technically. But I like the charming characters and just the addictive gameplay of it. No, I didn't really care about the whole rapping side of things, but it was a very charming game, and I remember playing it a lot back then. Now, admittedly, it hasn't exactly aged well, and I'd have a hard time playing it now with how much patience you had to be good at the rhythm part of the game. But still, it was a game I played a lot back then. Oh, damn it. Level up. Yeah, I'm not gonna put up with that now. Lower accuracy, fuck that. Come with enough Thunderbolt, you could just waste her. Level up. Why do we keep coming here? It takes longer to get to their side. And yet I somehow did it without a single battle. Ah, damn it. Still not quite there yet. Jeez. Oh, okay, I guess I had to beat the game again first. But yeah, we are going to see the event. Hold it. You're going to take the Pokemon League Challenge now? It's not going to happen. The Super Bowl trained Pokemon are going to pound you. Ethan, I challenge you. That's great and all, but I think you're in for a big disappointment here, dude. And they give him, like, Final Battle theme. Okay, he does not deserve this. Because he is really not that much different than before. And not in terms of levels, anyway. I'm just like, why? He doesn't deserve that. Yeah, a good fighting type can get through most of his Pokemon, no problem. Well, maybe not Gengar, I guess, but... I think that's the only one? I mean, I guess Psychic resists fighting too, but then again, Alakazam's defense is super low, so would it even matter? I'm curious. Yeah, Jolteon's physical attack is pretty abysmal compared to a special attack, and Double Kick's not exactly a strong move for fighting. And I'm still kicking his ass, so yeah, it could work. Like, if you had a really high attack fighting Pokemon with a fighting type move that is respectably good, then you could go through most of his Pokemon no problem. And hell, most fighting types know at least one normal type move. Oh wait, Ghost is immune to both, aren't they? Huh. Okay, you would have to have at least something else then for Gengar. Well, you just got fucked. Crobat. This is about the only difference, is that his Golbat finally turned into a Crobat. Because he finally learned to care about his Pokemon enough for it to happen. Not that it changes much, I'm just saying. It's one of those subtle character bits. Okay, I lost. Darn, I still can't win. I have to think more about my Pokemon. Huh, try not to lose. So yeah, there's that, I guess. Damn it. Okay, now I'm curious about this, though. Nope. What day is it that you do the grooming thing, man? Like for the haircuts? I don't know. Like, I have no idea. Anyways, back to this. Level up. Eh. So, Koga actually sucks in the sense that most of his evasion tactics rely on moves that only affect his own Pokemon, not me. For example, if you manage to defeat the Pokemon at all, then the evasion is wasted. It's not like if they would have used Sand Attack on me and it would have affected me the entire fight or something. So, he's a lot easier to deal with when you consider that. Yeah, whatever. Do dig. It's not like it matters. Wow. And to think, he's supposed to have high physical defense. Level up. And now I can basically use Thunderbolt on everything else. Everything that, you know, it'll work on. Sadly, Vileplume is not really something I can deal with. I wish. Because all my moves, it resists, so that's a problem. Level up. Okay, so one more level and I'm going to be getting Clarion caught up. Although they're both almost at the 80s, caught up with their respective pairs, so yeah, this isn't going to take long at all. Yeah, even with having to leave the room every now and then. Speaking of leaving the room, be right back. Well, that didn't take long, but there's one thing I do need to check though. Um, okay. Come to think of it, we're at a decent level for this. I'll wait till next go around. Yeah, that worked out pretty well. You know, I should really move Thunder a bit higher than that. Oh, right, it doesn't affect you. You're steel. Damn it. Level up. Fine. Oh, shit. Thunder? Yes, there we go. Alright, so this time we're going to be flying to Mount Silver and going to be trailing up the place again. And before I do this, let me go ahead and bring Flareon up here. Yeah, whatever. Larvitar. So Larvitar eventually turns into Tyranitar, which... As a Pokemon, when I was mentioning Dark types, I didn't really talk him about much. He's Rock and Dark. He's basically the Dragonite of this generation. Yeah, every day he comes back and you can fight him again. Alright. This should be much easier than last time. Wow, really? Yeah. This is what it's going to be like in Pokemon Stadium 2. Single Thunderbolt is enough to take on a Blastoise. Okay, so how good is Double Kick going to be on you? Oh, fuck you. Oh, well, damn. Level up. Didn't even use rest at all. That shocks me a bit. I was expecting... Damn, even that was enough. That's kind of amazing, since his special attack's not exactly what he's good at. Okay, what was this? Charizard. Okay, I should have known that, honestly. I mean, this is red we're talking about here. Okay. So, yeah. Snorlax was the only one that even really took more than, what, 1 to 2 hits? At best. Oh my god. Now, granted, I wasn't using Eevee in that fight, so I'm not sure how he compares yet, but I do remember the first time I was going to do the Pokemon Stadium 2 run, I did do some tests with Eevee. And I do remember liking what I saw. I mean, he's not level 100 yet, and his stats are pretty decent all around. I don't think he's going to super excel in anything, but he's by no means a pushover. Like, he's going to be holding his own, trust me. Especially in HP. The HP he has so far is actually pretty damn respectable, coming close to level 100. I don't think he's going to get to like 300 or anything, but he's going to have enough to tank a couple of hits easily. Like, unless he gets hit with a fighting type move, you're probably not going to be knocking this sucker out. And even then, the fighting type move would have to be a pretty powerful one, assuming it doesn't crit. I mean, geez. He's pretty damn close to Jolteon. And Jolteon's almost caught up to him in level, so yeah. Vaporeon's a tank in HP, so it makes sense. Flareon's HP is pretty bad compared to the other evolutions. The only reason I don't really complain about that too much is Flareon, out of all of them, really does come off the most gimmicky of the lot. Level up. Yeah, the thing is, Flareon just kind of comes off like, sure, he can do flame attacks somewhat good, but really it's only because I'm EV training the hell out of him. If I wasn't doing that, then his special attack would be pitiful, for lack of a better term. Which kind of sucks, honestly. Until Gen 4, Flareon's overall potential was just bad, since every fire attack was reliant on special attack, and special attack was not something he excelled at. Sure, you could do something about that, but like teaching him moves that may not be fire based, but are moves that could more rely on his attack stat, but I don't know, it always felt kind of pitiful, the fact that his main strength, being a fire type, is just something you would ignore entirely, unless you EV train the shit out of him. And also give him charcoal, to boost fire moves. But yeah, it's just like, look at that attack stat compared to his special attack. Like, what the fuck? Also, his defense stat is certainly not going to be winning any awards either. Like, really? Does that guy look like he should be someone who can't take a hit to save his life? Come on. Like he looks like he should at least tank a couple of hits at least. But nah, if I didn't EV train the hell out of his stats in this game, he would probably have closer to like 90 to 100 defense at this level, which it would be so damn pitiful. Like, any physical attacking unit would bring him down to half health, probably. Like, if Machamp would use Cross Chop on him with 100 defense, he'd go from, like, 244 to, like, 90, I think, with a single attack. Just, like, no. That's bad, guys. Thankfully, I have done something about that. They are EV trained to the max right now, and that basically means that their level up stat gains are as high as they can get. EV stands for effort values, and effort values basically determine how good your level ups are. They can be as pitiful as getting 1 stat per level up, and as high as getting up to 4 per level up. It's very good, but when we get to Generation 3, Ruby and Sapphire, they changed how effort values work in terms of how you gain them, and I hate that. And at that point, I don't really care anymore, because you have to go through so much effort just to get a few effort values. It's just not worth the effort. Shut up, ball. Now, I will talk about Threads of Fate here for a second, because there was a time when I Let's Played that game on my channel a long time ago, and boy, did this game drive me nuts. There's a moment very early on in the game that, like a character was going through a doorway or something as part of like a cutscene, and they would just get trapped in the doorway on an emulator, and they just wouldn't move. The game would be unplayable. And unfortunately, that was a big pain in the ass for me, especially because, as I was very quick to find out, the emulator that they wanted me to use was a very painful to use one. Why? Because it did not give a window. Level up. It wouldn't give a window. And my options were a lot more limited. I couldn't just speed up the game while holding a button down. I could only toggle one, and that was more awkward to me. But it also required a little meddling to get it working just right too, which is something I didn't want to have to deal with. It was a very frustrating time for me, but I did eventually figure out a workaround. But then I had trouble with the game sometimes, the graphics occasionally bugging out too. Not to the point where it was unplayable, but I certainly hated it whenever this was the case. So that was a bit of a problem. Nowadays, I use RetroArch for stuff, and it is much better about getting things to work just right here. Now, RetroArch is by no means perfect, and level up. If you've kept up with my more recent streams, you might realize that I have some issues with certain, like, emulator cores that RetroArch uses. Yeah, it's not exactly fun to deal with that, but hey, whatever. I'm just trying to make do with what I've got here, because I don't want to have a whole bunch of different emulators that may or may not work well for me. I would just rather not deal with that. Alright. Back to Vaporeon at long last. Just in case. Yeah, the problem with Vaporeon is he barely has enough to do it with just a little bit of help. Shit. Even then, this might not be enough. Level up. Wait, never mind. Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will. Get wrecked. I'm really lucky with that. I'll just have you deal with Will, just so I can save a few uses here. Up. Level up. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. I was being a bit lost in thought about something. It's something that's been bugging me for a little bit. Anyone who has been keeping up lately will probably know, and I don't know why I did that, that I've been getting back into Mushroom Kingdom Fusion. It's been something I've been wanting to go back to for a while. I don't really talk about it much. Level up. Because mostly I try to keep a lot of these thoughts off of anything public because I don't want to raise like drama over shit like this. I just don't think it's really something that I feel comfortable with, really. Not really. But I'll just speak just about a little bit about it in regards to just my feelings on getting into the game. First of all, wait, huh? Lightning affects steel? I'm sorry? Electric affects steel? I didn't think it could. I thought steel was immune to it, just like ground was. I was using it on steel and ground, wasn't I? Is that why I thought that all this time? Because I only ever used it on something that was both steel and ground this whole time? I'm gonna have to look into that. Because I could have sworn that was the case, but apparently I've been proven wrong again. Go figure. Interesting. Anyways, back to what I was saying, though. I like the game, and I'll be the first to be in support of people getting into it, since it is a fun game. But let's just say there are certain elements in regards to the game that I'm not too enthused about. There are certain actions that are taken when it comes to Mushroom Kingdom Fusion that I personally am not altogether enthused about. Now, to be fair, this is really just a personal thing with me, and I'm sure for other people this won't bother them as much, but anyone who knows me will know I'm not a big fan of nerfs. In pretty much any genre, I personally think that if you have to rely on nerfing elements that already exist in a game, then that's more telling on just the effort that was done in adding it in the first place. And rather than nerfing it, you should just find another way to appropriate it with a level up within the game design. That's what I choose to believe, and I'm sticking with it. Nerfs, I feel, are a band-aid solution to a much bigger issue in a game, and choosing to rely too much on nerfs will just drain the game experience a lot here. Now, for most people, this isn't a big deal. The nerfs really don't bug them very much, and I can understand why. I do. Because for some people it's not a big deal, like the things that were altered, but for me it was. There were several things I liked that were altered, and to be more specific, there were things that had a big impact on me enjoying the game experience. And because of that, I can't help but feel that at least on some small level, I felt like I was targeted when the nerf happened. Like, my reaction to things was a direct proponent for why the nerfs happened in the first place. And I can't help but feel insulted by that. The fact that I enjoyed the way it was and this other guy didn't is what led to such a massive change happening. And no, I don't care if other people think it's not a big deal. Hold on. 269 HP. Nice. But yeah, I don't care if other people come in later and say, oh, well, it doesn't matter whether you like it or not. It has to be made for everyone. Yeah, well, that's still not going to make me feel better about it. If this game is meant to be for everybody, then everybody should have an impact on whether something has changed or not. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that, honestly, because if I did, then someone would eventually come down my throat on that shit, and I'm not going to get into that. But what I will say, though, is that I am very upset in regards to the game development. There's a lot more to go into that, but basically that's what it is right now, and it has left me in a bit of a mood. Yeah, it really has. Level up. Now, this isn't the first rodeo I've had when it comes to things not working out. When it comes to a game that I like and how a game appropriates itself when it comes to its developers. A level up. Now, anyone who knows about me, I have been involved with a couple of different developers working on a game. Not necessarily major AAA production shit or anything like that. I mean, not even MKF is that, but I have been involved with people before, and let's just say that by the end of it, I did not leave very impressed. As a matter of fact, I actually knew a guy that was making a game called Slurpy Derpy. Eventually it was called Tap Tap Evolution, but Slurpy Derpy was the original title. And, well, this guy would always be kind of wishy-washy on how he wanted development to happen. It was basically a solo show with only a couple other people he knew helping him on it, but he was open to fan reception to an extent. And I did try to help him as much as I could in terms of trying to get the game to be as good as it was, but there was always an issue with that. Eventually he got to the point to where he had specific ideas he wanted the game to have, and, well, I'm going to be nice and say that they were shaky at the very foundation. And I did try to explain that he really needed to try to balance this stuff early before things got too out of control, because the balance of the game was just shot by him adding all this stuff. Man, he didn't listen to me. He thought I was over-exaggerating, and he figured he knew what he was doing. He did not. Fast forward about a year or so, and he started complaining about the fact that people were dropping off like flies of the game. And I said, sorry dude, but I can't blame them. The game has just incredibly lost its footing at this point, and I don't even know if it's possible to get it back. Like, it's so unbalanced now that a simple couple of fixes isn't going to cut it anymore. Like, the whole thing is going to have to be reworked. And he attempted to do that once. The rework was even worse than what it was before, though. The balance had changed, yes, but at the expense of any real fun element the game was to begin with. It was way harder now, and fans were like, yeah, it's like there's better balance overall now, but now it's hard to beat any world we visit. It's one of those incremental games where you keep resetting and get stronger and stuff, but like the curve though in which the game got harder was way worse, and people were like, dude, why did you think this was ever a good idea? Seriously. Like, I'm barely making progress at all. It's taken me a month to get to the 4th world. And there's like 8 of these total, I think. Unless you've added some. And I was like, yeah, level up. I don't really think that this is actually going to work out. Oh shit. I forgot about one problem here. Yeah, he's actually ahead of me now. I can't have that. Shit. Just a moment. Let me get to a couple of fights here. I actually forgot that was going to be a problem if I have to switch Pokemon every now and then. Because that's experience Vaporeon's not getting. Alright, just a moment. I just need to get a little bit ahead of... need a little more than that. Level up. But yeah, like, eventually he said, yeah, I don't even know if I want to continue anymore. He said, honestly, at this point, I just don't think anyone's going to be happy no matter how it turns out now. I'm going to be like, dude, that is not true. It's just, like, you needed to really be cautious about the unbalancing back when I originally said that it was already looking like it's going to be an issue. I mean, it's not like you didn't know. I and a couple other people did make it clear that things were not really turning out too well, and that they needed to be looked into, and he just wasn't listening. That was more... Evil number. That was more his fault than anything else, and I wasn't being around the bush, too. I was really just telling him, yeah, this just needs to be reworked and rethought out a bit. I mean, that's really all it needs. You don't need to go ham crazy with adding new content or anything. Just rebalance a few things. That's all the game needs. But he gave up on it. And I think it's because deep down he basically just wanted those elements to still be in the game. He just couldn't figure out a way to make them work. Because in order to really give the balancing the game needed, he would have essentially had to slash at a couple of the new concepts he introduced. Since they essentially added for way too hard of difficulty due to them not escalating well. Basically diminishing returns, if you know what that means. And so, he was not willing to do that. And the game is still a mess even to this day. He eventually put it back on Steam. At one point he got rid of it on Steam just because he didn't like how it was turning out, but he did put it back on, since the Reddit forum, people kept begging for it to come back. Since even though it was a bit of a mess, they still liked playing it. At least for the first couple of worlds anyway, and so he did. He brought it back. And he even implied that he did miss working on it, and that he would probably do a few more interesting things with it, but that never came to pass. Mostly because people did get into it again, but it didn't last very long. I think within 3 or 4 months, people had just dropped off again, and so had he. It was just kind of unfortunate. Level up. Okay, I've definitely got to do more of this with Vaporeon here. Because this is going to be a bit of a problem. Yeah. I'm going to store a bit more experience than I thought. But yeah, the other game was a game called Tap Tap Infinity. And what do you know? It was made by the same very person who made Slurpy Derpy. I actually first met the guy when I was testing out Tap Tap Infinity. And he actually said that by the time I got into it, it had already been out for 2 years or so. And it was basically meant to be a game that was heavily inspired by Clicker Heroes, the famed Clicker incremental game. And I could tell, but he was doing some interesting ideas with it, which Clicker Heroes wasn't doing at the time. So I was like, okay, level up. The problem, however, is that he wasn't really dedicated, again, to balancing stuff out. It didn't seem like it was going to be a problem at first, but I did start to notice some things. And I was like, dude, I'm noticing that the game's going to slow down at some point. What am I supposed to do? And he said, I'll try to look into it, but I don't know what else I can do about it. The way the game is set up, I can't exactly change much. And I'm like, well, and some needs to be changed, otherwise there's going to be no progress left. Unless that's kind of the point, but that's going to be disappointing if it is. He said, no, not necessarily. Hold on, let me look into it. And he did. He said, ooh, yeah, that is going to be a bit of a problem, isn't it? He said, I'll see what I can do about that. He said, I'm not sure, though. And eventually just gave up on the game at some point. I think it was like a year after that. He said, sorry, I've just given up on Tap Tap Infinity. I initially made it to be kind of a competitor for Clicker Heroes. Level up. Oh, 269 special attack. Nice. And he said, but honestly at this point, I don't really think I can ever compete with Team Playsaurus or whatever. So he said, I'm just going to make my own fully unique game instead, which turned out to be Slurpy Derpy, but we already talked about that. And it just seemed like, for all practical purposes, he eventually would try to work with like a team that would make like, it was like an insect incremental game of sorts. I forget what it was called, but and he worked with the people who ended up working on that, and things were going pretty good. I mean, things were going pretty well with that game. It was certainly better balanced than any of the games he was helming himself. But, oh boy. I think the biggest problem I have with people is that they are just unwilling to accept that other people's ideas are actually better, and I feel like sometimes you need to let go of your pride and just accept that they do have a point and you should consider it. But I've noticed with a lot of devs with these non AAA games, these indie games of sorts, fan games, whatever you want to call them, they just seem to be too. I don't want to say full of themselves because that's not true and it's kind of mean, but they honestly are way too focused on what they want out of the game and not what the game, what I feel really needs in terms of making it just better, I guess. Now, I won't pretend to say that I'm the authority on anything that's ever been good. Far from it. When it came to some of the stories I was writing for like fanfics of Zelda and Kingdom Hearts and stuff, I certainly had my fair share of dumb decisions I made when it came to writing that stuff out. And yeah, I know, game development is not the same thing as writing a story out, but still, I'm gonna say for the record that I feel like I made some mistakes that I really should have seen coming. Now, granted, I did get some people claiming that they did like the direction I was taking stuff. Okay, just wanted to check. Yeah, my mom was okay. She was. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm not exactly an expert on everything that's ever been good or anything. And I never intend for it to be that. But I have been talking to some people that have been really struggling when it comes to game development and stuff. Basically being put down every time they try to do something neat, and I am getting tired of that shit. Especially since they are the types that are the real visionaries of the game, and I feel like no one really. I should say no one, because that would disclude me, but there's not enough people that really appreciate what they do, and that's something I find is unforgivable. It's when someone really puts effort into something, and no one really wants to acknowledge it. Again, I don't pretend to be like I'm the authority on everything. A level up. But I am at least smart enough to know when talent is being wasted, and I talk to people a lot about that. Trust me. And I try to be as optimistic and supportive as possible. They put in hard work into stuff, and yes, I believe that they should be acknowledged for stuff that they do really well. Yeah, still doing well on that. Oh shit. make up for that. There we go. But yeah, I don't know if I really want to continue doing Mushroom Kingdom Fusion stuff publicly on stream, because I'm just over it at this point. I'm probably going to do that more in a private server with people I can trust. Level up. You don't get them. Get yours. Fucking terrific. One in the morning. Level up. Alright. Oh, come on, man. Level up. So level up. Oh, come on. Can you please let me access my menu? Jeez. Level up. Level up. So trying to think on what I was going to mention. The PS1 era was definitely a defining era for me, but it wasn't the only era that really struck a chord with me. That was the PS2 era too, although admittedly I never quite had the same impact. I mean, I never had the same experiences that I did with the PS1 era, and I think the big reason for that was, for all practical purposes, there just wasn't as much cool stuff on the PS2 for me than there were on PS1. I mean, PS1, we were getting the awesome shit shoveled at us left and right, not only in the RPG era, but there were various, like, 3D platformers, there were various revivals of old games being put into 3D, and like, just the huge library of shit was just freaking breathtaking on PS1. In PS2, it really did feel like things were starting to slow down a peg. Not to the point where we weren't getting any cool stuff, far from it. It just didn't feel like it had the same impact anymore. It probably didn't help that the jump from PS1 to PS2 wasn't quite as massive from 2D to 3D. So obviously it wasn't seen as like that major of a leap. Now that's not to say that the games weren't still pretty though. PS2 certainly could put out better graphics than the PS1 could, and that did make for far more dynamic games. However, with the exception of a few, I can't say I really thought that they were so great an improvement that it was breathtaking to behold, much like with the PS1. No, far from it. Let's see, I had Final Fantasy X, big shock there, I think everyone had that, but like, and I did discover through my cousin a very prominent RPG called Shadow Hearts, both that and its sequel, that I was also very impressed by. And I went back and got another RPG I missed out on the PS1 called Legend of Legaia. I played the demo, but I never really bought the full game up until the PS2 was already out. And I played it. It was fun. The Gaia 2 Dual Saga for PS2 was my grandma's favorite RPG, and I liked it a lot, but I don't know. Myself, I feel like there weren't too many games that I ended up playing on it. Honestly, when it comes to turn-based RPGs, PS2 and especially PS3, I feel it didn't quite carry the same weight as PS1 did. I'm sure there were good games on it, but I didn't really feel like going too far by way to play them. And it had nothing to do with burnout or anything like that. It didn't. No, it's just that the games themselves, just by this point, it kind of felt like been there, done that. Especially when it came to certain games that level up. Level up. Games that, quite frankly, look kind of generic. I mean, you're probably thinking, dude, you went so long with RPGs, why are you starting to get very huffy about it now? You want to know why? Because I knew that these companies could do better. Because we had seen better on the PS1. Maybe not in terms of graphics, sure, but in terms of everything else, yeah, we had seen better. And yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna, like, just let that go. I refuse, because the very fact that we were getting RPGs from some of these companies that I knew for a fact were just being pushed out the door because they knew RPGs were the big thing still and they wanted to capitalize on it. And they weren't putting much effort into them because they knew they'd sell anyway. I was insulted, man. Like, we got so many amazing things on PS1 that when I saw these sequels get shoveled out for these long-running series, Suikoden 4 being a big one here. I'm sorry, that insulted me. I couldn't believe it. Well, okay, I could believe it, but... because I knew what they were thinking, but let's be perfectly blunt here. Many of these RPG series. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention Breath of Fire 3 and 4 as part of my RPG list on PS1. Also, about halfway through the PS1 era, I discovered the truth that there were many RPGs on Super Nintendo that we never knew about. Because when we looked at RPGs online, a place called Emerald Isle Games would show up, and the person would mention all the RPGs on this little list that you could buy from him. And we discovered that they were on Super Nintendo, and we never knew about it. And I was like, oh my god, are you serious? Fucking really, man. What the hell? So we ended up getting a lot of those too. Pretty much all that we could find. Yeah, that was fun. 'Twas indeed. So, one of the first Super Nintendo RPGs that we actually invested time into were the games Final Fantasy 2 and 3 on Super Nintendo. Obviously, there were 4 and 6, but we didn't know that at the time. But hey, you know, whatever. We got a lot of fun into those. We even, shortly after that, got Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. I mean, it's a Final Fantasy game. Of course we were going to get it. And unlike most people, we didn't completely hate it. We thought it was fun. I never really tried to compare it to the others of its kind. I just thought it was another fun game to play. This was back when RPGs, we were still on the RPG high here, so anything that even reminded us of RPGs we were going to like. It didn't matter to us. Thing is, I still think Mystic Quest deserves a place in RPG history, and not in the bad way. I mean, I don't think it's a bad game, just not quite met with the same standards as its predecessors. But I don't think it's bad. I think it's fun. Fun in that very simple kind of way, where if you're looking for a short but simple RPG, that's what you go to. It's not meant to be super epic or anything. It was meant to be more of a, this RPG is meant to get you started type of way. I know people think Final Fantasy 2 on Super Nintendo was okay enough for that, but I don't know. I question that mentality because I was already used to RPGs when I started, so I was kind of prepared, really. But for anyone who has started with Final Fantasy 2 on Super Nintendo, what was your first experience like? Because I am actually really curious about that one. Because quite frankly, um, I have a hard time believing that your first experience would have been one where you fully understood what was going on. Because um, I started with the bare basics on the regular NES with Dragon Warrior, and as a kid, even I found it a little rough to initially learn what I was supposed to do to get good at it. I mean, I eventually did, of course, especially with help from my grandma, but that was when things were at its simplest. Are you really telling me that you could just jump into Final Fantasy 2 Super Nintendo, knowing nothing about RPGs, and not be a little lost at what the heck you were supposed to be doing? I don't believe that for a second. I refuse. Like, seriously. Level up. Like, there's just too much going on in that game for you to not be at least a little lost. Level up. Unless you had some experience already. I don't know. I mean, that just seems really, really questionable to me. I personally believe that Final Fantasy Mystic Quest is probably a lot closer to what I would probably throw at someone when they're first starting out, rather than something like, I'll just call it Final Fantasy 4 and 6, since that's what they're really supposed to be called anyway. I know people would probably find that a little shallow, but again, I don't really think it's a bad game like others do. And even when people try to explain why they feel that way, I don't buy it. It's almost like they're saying that a game can't be considered a good game unless it's really throwing a lot of um, I don't want to say complex, but a lot more nuanced RPGisms at the player, and I think that's dumb. I think it's dumb. Then again, I never really understood why people will sometimes talk about old games like they're freaking masters of art, yet when they would try to make more complicated games in the series, like what they try to do with Mega Man, they were completely shot down, even though the earlier games really weren't as advanced by comparison. I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know what's up with that at all. Sometimes I just refuse to understand people. But getting away from Final Fantasy here for a second. The other game that I saw my grandma play one day when I came from school. Was a game called Lufia and the Fortress of Doom. Now, this game took me by surprise because I was like, "Whoa, what is this?" Like you would go to a pause screen, and they would be like, "Yay, jumping for joy, jumping for joy!" Like I was like, "Whoa, that's different." Like this is back on Super Nintendo, and they're so animated. Like wow. And she said she was really getting into it too, because there was already kind of a romance between the two main characters, and she was always a sucker for the whole romance thing. So level up. So yeah, I was like, okay. And I was watching her play through it, and it seemed very fun and creative. Like I was really getting into the game. Now, she was always the type that would sit around just living up her people and enjoying the numbers go up. I was too, though she was way more obsessed with it than I was in her games. But boy, this was a game that really wanted you to do that, like really badly. So I watched her play through it, and this was the first time I would ever really be introduced to the idea of playing a game about a mystical weapon having such strong power that it's needed to be a plot device. Unless you count, well, I should say the first RPG that did that. I mean, I technically played Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past on Super Nintendo. And, you know, that was the first ever actual game I played that had something like that, but, like, I weren't used to that with turn-based RPGs, though. I guess you could say in Dragon Warrior, Erdrick's sword was kind of a holy weapon, or meant to be some sort of holy weapon to use against the Dragon Lord, but I don't know, though. It was kind of iffy what, level up. It's kind of iffy whether, whether that was really the case or not. But yeah, in Lufia and the Fortress of Doom, the weapon called the Dual Blade was such a wholly powerful weapon that the story made a big deal about. I really like the idea behind that. What I didn't realize at the time was that every story that had ever been written like this was essentially based off Arthurian lore, basically the stories of King Arthur. I never really knew much about King Arthur and his tales growing up, though, so this was new territory for me. But you know, I was really big into that game. And when I played the sequel, I was even more hooked, because the sequel was way better than the original. Thing is, it wasn't really a sequel as much as a prequel, which is the first time I would be introduced to the concept. What do you mean? Like, this is what happened in the past? Aren't sequels, you know, supposed to be what happens after? But yeah. So, you know, that was interesting. Yeah, I don't think you're going to get ahead of me during the next couple of runs, so I'll stick with it for now. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, that was pretty neat. But man, if we're talking games around this time period that we went back to and got for me, I got a game that would change just the kind of experience that I thought I could have from a video game. As a matter of fact, even going back, I still not quite sure how I'm supposed to feel about it. It was called Illusion of Gaia. Ooh, this game. I swear, like, this game had such a unique and almost bizarre story to it that you'll come out of it not really sure how you're supposed to feel. It's apparently part of a series, but I didn't know that at the time. I really didn't. What I did know is that this game was unlike any I had experienced, and it really did feel like it was actually meant to be more of an experience than an adventure. Level up. And by the end, I didn't really feel like I beat this major bad guy or anything. I felt like I was just experiencing what these characters were going through and what kind of impact it would have on them at the end. Up. So, to go back to what I was saying about the PS2 stuff, though, I was basically just wanting to see what all those beloved RPG series were going to do in terms of the future. Oh boy. Not terribly much, unfortunately. A lot of the old series were reaching the end of their lifespan. Either because the sequels were becoming really tiresome, or because the creators were running out of steam and wanted to do something else. It was a very sad time for me, especially, since it just seemed like an era was coming to an end, and I was just going to be left with almost nothing. Uh, it's depressing, but the truth. Um, Many of my beloved RPGs are dead in the water now. Stuff like Suikoden, stuff like Breath of Fire, stuff like Wild Arms. Fall Fantasy's still going, of course, but yeah. Level up. Now, I forgot to mention that Dragon Warrior had released quite a few games over time. And on PS1, Dragon Warrior 7 was among the games in my library that I liked a lot. Now, I did a lot of the Dragon Quest games. They were called Dragon Quest in Japan. Dragon Warrior was just the name they had to use due to copyright shit. But anyways, I got around to playing those through fan translations, the ones that they didn't release over here in the States, and it was pretty fun. I actually streamed a whole lot of those way back. Level up. So they both just need about 100,000 to go. Shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, if I thought PS2 era was going to be a bit negating, then hoo boy, I was not prepared for the PS3 era. I didn't even really own a PS3 for so long, since the starting price tag was ridiculous at pretty much $600. I was like, yeah, no game system is gonna be worth that, and it wasn't. It took a couple of years for me to even get one. They finally lowered the price tag on it to where it's affordable, and my cousin helped me. Okay, went in with my mom to help buy me one. And, well, there wasn't too much of the system I really cared about in the first place. Oh, there wasn't. PS3 definitely was the system that, in my opinion, probably had the weakest game library for someone like me who was a big fan of turn-based RPGs. Oh, they had some on it, but I gotta say for the record that I was not overly impressed though. They certainly didn't exactly feel like they were setting the world on fire with the ones they were making. Nah, PS4 would later come about later, and I think they were doing a much better job scratching that itch a bit. And I was like, oh, thank God. At least they're finally making good ones again. Level up. Level up. Yeah, let's get a few battles over here. A little bit more. There we go. Yeah, because you're catching up fast here. Oh, knock it off. Oh, wow. They really know when they're not wanted. I guess I could talk about the fact that I am once again trying to revive, well, my stories, level up. Stories for writing. I have concerns about that, but someone really wanted to see it, and I didn't want to disappoint them. So... oh, bitch. Hate it when he does that. I mean, I still think I have enough to get through Karen, at least. Okay, so... I have concerns about that, but someone really wanted to see it who has never really seen it before. And they said they don't care how amateurish it might be, they want to see it anyway. They want to. And they don't want me to fix stuff up. They want to see it as intended. They want to see what it was like. And I was like, okay. Not sure why you would want that, but alright. So, you know, that's what I intended on doing. Yes, Mom.
I'm just getting the sugar out in my room. Ain't my brain.
I'll be right back. I'm back. But anyways, like I was saying, I definitely don't know why she would want to. Oh shit. Damn it. Would want to see it like that, but I have been trying to do that without really. I've been trying to stop myself from just wanting to improve things too much, if at all, because she wants to see it primarily unedited. But the problem that I'm running into is that there's some things that really bug me about how I chose to write certain ideas. Oh, stop it. I swear I hate it when they do that shit, man. Level up. One more. Level up. Really done that in a while, so it tells me I should. up. Level 100 for both. Excellent. I feel like it'd be easier for Eevee to actually clear out the Elite Four than it would be for Jolteon. We'll see how this goes. Obviously, Bite is the way to go for the first round. I mean, everyone's weak to it, so may as well. Nothing is particularly effective on you, unfortunately, but I think you're one of the few exceptions here, though. Level up. But I believe he always starts with spikes anyway, so it's not really even a huge problem. It's good for you, because normal doesn't work. Oops, forgot about that. Still, he almost beat it. That's kind of amusing. Level up. Give him a couple more levels to catch up to Eevee, so he's not trailing behind a little bit. So weird. Level up. That was a little better. I can't believe Return actually did more damage than something that was normal. Normal damage on you. But apparently not. Damn. Whew. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stay up for all of this. Is we are 3 hours in and I'm getting really exhausted. I might have to do the rest next time once I get done with this. Because yeah. But we are very close. And then we can do this for real. Level up. This should work. I don't want to be getting too much, but so I don't want Evie to level up again, so let's do this. There we go. Alright, so let's put stuff back here. For later. Ain't gonna take that long, thankfully. Maybe an hour or so at most next time. And then I'll just have to, well, we do have one more thing we need to show off. For now. Gotta get the saves out because yeah, we have to still do mystery gift. Figures. I don't know if her wanting stuff has any effect on what she's gonna get later. I doubt it. But so thank you guys for watching, and next time we'll be finishing this up, and then I'll just have to wait around for my friends to be available so I can do the Pokemon Stadium 2 thing. See you guys later.